The other day I was talking to a young man who had just gotten out of prison, and the basis of this conversation was pretty much the same as when I was in prison. And it was that the purpose for his behavior was the white man. The white man was holding him down. The white man wouldn't give him a job. You know, the white man had a conspiracy. The government this, the government that, and any blacks that made money were basically on the times. And it got me thinking that even today, in the 21st century, the black mind is still on the plantation. Centuries after the horrors of slavery, it's an undisputed truth that African Americans enjoy rights and freedoms that our ancestors could never have imagined. Unfortunately, the residual effects of forced servitude remain firmly rooted in the mind of the general black populace, rendering it impotent in the world. Throughout the years of slavery, Africans were indoctrinated with a common lie on every plantation. That is, that they could not survive without their master's hand. A lie that permeates generations of a once proud race, leaving it today dependent on master and pointing the finger at him for all his failures and shortcomings. Only after centuries of bloodshed and shattered families did blacks achieve freedom and legal status for Americans. However, this achievement was based on the actions of a relative few in conjunction with renegade whites. Still, the slave mentality remains the foundation of the African American existence. And with every victory, black people seem to continue to take 2 steps back. From the inability to buy a house to the disparity between the number of white students in law school as opposed to the black, to the overwhelming number of black men incarcerated, African Americans collectively look to master for answers. Apparently stuck on stupid, black people are either blind to the fact or willfully ignorant to the presence of the means to fully enjoy this nation we helped to build. We have a real stake in this country. However, we will never realize it as a whole until we become self-reliant. There were 2 types of slaves during slavery. 2 types of servants, the house slave and the field slave. And the owner made sure that both were divided against each other in thought, word, and deed. Incredibly, the same division exists today in the black collective. The haves consider the have-nots to be lazy and ignorant and not worthy of assistance, while the have-nots view the haves as wannabe white people. And sadly, this mentality continues to impede black progress. No doubt, there will be those who reject my hypotheses of today's black condition. However, proof of my view of the black problem is seen in the way we respond to tragedy. Rather than turn to our own, we demand help from master. Why is every other minority group in America respected except for blacks? It's because they respect their heritage and consequently respect each other. In contrast, the average black person ignores their heritage and consequently have no real respect for each other. A fact we prove every day in our music and speech. For my beliefs, I've been called radical and segregationist and demagogue and all these different things, but the truth is that I'm a realist. I've lived every facet of life. In my younger days, I looked on people like Justice Clarence Thomas, as being an Uncle Tom. But now that I'm older and wiser, I realize that this core principle of black people putting themselves up by their bootstraps is what we should all strive for. By constantly expecting the white man to fix our problems, we continue the cycle of abandoning future generations. And we leave them inside the gate to the plantation. For far too long, we have been victimized by the slave mentality. The time is now to look within our own race for the solution and let master die for good. We live in a society of systematic racism. We all know this. Repeated little episodes of racial hatred like the Don Imus issue and all these things that are going on with these radical white groups against President Obama. You know, these things prove that the evil heart still beats. You see? But we can overcome. Unity and holding our own accountable creates self-reliance, which in turn breeds self-esteem. If as a whole, black people choose to depend on ourselves, we can all finally leave the plantation behind and take our rightful place in this great nation built on our blood, sweat, and tears. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm Project Resurrection 1, and I'm out.